Hello, investors. It is Connor Bates, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Wednesday, May 28th, 4:52 p.m. Eastern Time, coming to you from Fort Lauderdale with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. Market state, we continue to be in an uptrend since those subsequent fall through days. And if you take a look at the trend gauge over here, market leaders in grow mode. Tons of themes, tons of leading stocks. Same message we have been giving you guys last couple of weeks. Short term, we're above that 21 EMA and the power trend stays live. Medium term, we're above the 50-day moving average as well, sloping up. And then long term, above the 200-day moving average. Want to just see that get more of a positive slope. What happened today? Kind of a consolidation day, week close. There was some news that Trump is going to you know, with chips in China, and then Nvidia, the big semiconductor, reported earnings after the bell today. Currently, it's up. When we get back into the charts, we will take a look. Here are the final numbers: 21 over 21 list, down 0.45%, 8 green, 13 red. Big 8 down 0.46%, RG8 down 0.93%. 60/40 stock and bond down 0.38%. Flagship portfolio GROTECTION down 0.36%. And TurboTection down 0.97% on the day. All right, let's get into the interasset correlation. S&P 500 looks constructive. We closed second close back above the 8 EMA, and kind of a trajectory that we might be forming a handle here right below the 6,000 level. We've been talking about it as resistance. We did close back below 5,900. You can see, open strong, just kind of range bound all day, and then had a minor weak close. But again, zooming out, nothing wrong with the action today. And just looking at the daily chart, looks fine. That 50 days starting to slope back up, and the 21 days trying to get back above the 200-day moving average as well. So as long as these, 200-day in this gap, as long as these levels hold in the 21, no reason not to be bullish. So good action there. And Nvidia, if that can continue higher tomorrow, that should just fuel the market even more. RSP, some relative weakness, closing back below the 200-day, but again, it looks fine. Just down less than 1%, and 150 to 180 in a month. That's a big move, right? So my expectation here is some chop, some backfill action, some consolidation before moving higher. QQQ, again, still above 500, still above this gap, still above the 21, just pulling back today on lighter volume, down 0.44% on the day. And again, kind of my thoughts for many of these charts, especially the indexes, is still leaning bullish. $400 found this low at 402.39 and rallied all the way back up over 500. So a flag consolidation, backfill, totally normal here. Mag 7 looks good, just slight down day. Dow Jones finding resistance at this 200 day. Mid caps below the 200 day just probably just chops around here for a little bit. Russell 2000 again forming another range here. ARC forming the handle in this cut base. Leaders, good action, continue to trend up the right side. VIX still below 20. Again, that's good for the bulls. Slightly positive today, but again below 20. That's good to see. That the ATR, the S&P 500, 21 days down to 1.37. The dollar, just maybe trying to put in a higher low here. We'll see if we can get back through 100. Gold, that scenario that I talked about, another lower high, and then pulling back coincides with the bounce in equities last week and Monday or Tuesday this week. So see if this starts to roll over. Has been a good indicator, risk on, risk off, and even then, gold's a good hedge. Tends to pop when the market starts to pull back. Gold stocks, similar thing, another lower high. Silver just in a huge range. Bitcoin pulling back, broke the 8 for kind of the first true break of the 8 since this power gap and go. But again, it's coming back into the base. Maybe this needs to touch 21, or is this just is handling out? Bonds just in a range. TLT trying to hold these $85 lows. Rates, see if they can stay below there. TNX, same thing. That's the interasset correlation. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. And let's see. What do we want? Yeah, that news. Trump ordered a halt on ships from China. That kind of fueled the late day fade. Today's keys, S&P above the 200 day, above 5,800 support, still below that 6,000 resistance. The QQQ above the 200 day, above that 500 support level, and right under 525. Going into Thursday, sorry, this should be Thursday, but watching the same stuff. Day count consolidation one after up one, 2 days back above the 8 EMA, 24 days above the 21. And sectors wise, pretty quiet day. Most sectors were down today. Uranium was strong again, silver miners specifically, and then weakness, Bitcoin, builders, regional banks, utilities, cyber, software, biotech, all down today, but nothing huge, just kind of more so a consolidation day. Some names taking a rest. GROTECTION today just added to SSO 1.47, RVAB 4.94% open heat. TurboTection got stopped out of TEM 1.68 beta 5.15% open heat. Bottom line, market digest ahead of Nvidia earnings report. All right, let's start with Nvidia. Let's see. Since I started when I started this video, it was up around 4%. Nice. So this is up 5% after hours, back above that 140 level. And this chart looks great. 140 was a key level. See if that can stay above. And then, after that, next level is really all-time highs at 153.13. And pretty good earnings report from Nvidia. EPS was up 57% year over year. Revenue was up 69% year over year. EPS was up 8% quarter over quarter. Revenue was up 12% quarter over quarter. And it was and their earnings wise was a beat by 28%, and their revenues was a slight 2% beat. But again, if Nvidia is in an uptrend, acting strong, gapping higher on earnings, the market tends to do well, especially for semiconductors. And if you take a look at so many of these had really good charts going into this. Avgo is up another 2.5%. This had a beautiful flag, and this is coming right back into all-time highs. VRT is another one that tends to move. This one's up 4%, continuing higher out of this consolidation. We've got ALAB up 3.6%, coming into that 100 spot. Let's see, ARM up 3% back above the 200 days. So, the group is looking so much better. There's actually leadership now with the names I just pointed out, and a lot are trying to bottom out, come back up. Some of the bigger ones, KLAC, decent little base here. AMAT, again, below the 200 day, but maybe this comes back up. So, you know, good for semiconductors being gears. SOX is up 1.47%, and that is, it's with 200 day. It's at 213, so slightly below the 200 day after hours. But again, the main thing is what's Nvidia going to do during the trading session tomorrow. But for now, this looks really good. We'll have to see what Jensen said on the call later this evening. But based on the action right now, it must be pretty good, up 5.58% so far. So good to see semiconductors working and Nvidia gapping higher on earnings. Let's see. Let's go through the 21 over 21 list. GEV, just frozen rope, unbelievable action in this one. Won't pull back for any ads, but again, we own this in both portfolios, acting extremely well. APP, this one's acting really well too. Came back. It's, still got that nice growth. Coming through this flag, 400's the next spot, key Livermore level. Good action there. Carvana moving higher out of this flag. And again, so, we had a lot of these run-ups into these left side highs. Carvana is a great example. And sometimes these can be sharp rejection points, but I think it just shows the strength of this market. This just consolidated right around there for a couple days and now moving higher. Spotify up, just consolidating up at the top of the space. Dutch Brothers found support at the 21 and rounding back out. Palantir, super tight day today on light volume. This one looks really good, up 1.2% after hours, breaking this that 125.41 level. But this one looks good out of this cup and handle base to fall through. And again, probably the liquid leader of the market right now, acting well. Boeing flagging here, held 200. Hims, nice hammer off the 21 day. And this one's kind of gone a little bit more quiet, but that's after it had an enormous run off this 200 day. And so this is getting a well-deserved rest. You can see the big cup starting to form out the handle. Again, nothing really bearish about some of this action in these stocks. I mean, it still looks really good. Duolingo flagging out at the highs above that 500 psychological level. Netflix continues to trend higher. This was one of the first names to break out and just continues to make higher highs. Nvidia talked about that. NRG, another one in that utility power generation group, flagging after this post earnings gap. Can't ask, if you're buying an earnings gap, this is pretty five-star action, letting the shorter term moving averages catch up and starting to digest. Uber, we'll see. This 21 days catching up, but want to see it hold the top of this base. 87 is the level. Chewy grinding higher up the right side. Robinhood consolidating similar to Carvana came into this left side high. So perhaps this handles out, flags for a couple days, and then resumes its uptrend. Zscaler, another frozen rope. Cybersecurity stocks are really strong. Toast, that 21 days catching up. Tesla, up 1.44% after hours. And I believe they had some FSD news. Let me check real quick after hours, and that's prompting the gap up. Tesla said it to target robotaxi launch in Austin on June 12th, and they conducted first driverless test on public roads this week. So a lot of people were waiting for some of that news, and that is up 1.45% after hours, and this one continues to act great. Yeah. EQT rejecting at the top of the space, maybe needs to handle out. Bitcoin talked about that. CoreWeave inside day, I mean, so extended, but so powerful. Again, up 5.5% after hours. And what was the high on that? And, coming near that previous day's high. It's pretty crazy move for this one. And that is the 21 over 21 list. We'll just take a look at Nvidia again, see. Yeah, 142. So that this 140 spot was a key level, and now through that, 148, 153, those are the previous all-time highs on this one. Tempest AI, we cut this in turbo. This got a short report, cut it pretty quick, and just failed. This was a small position anyways, but this one got hit pretty hard on a Spruce Point short report. So probably need some more time. It's still in a big range, and we'll see. Let's just take a look at the big eight. Meta, pretty good cup and handle base here. Apple, relative weakness, but as long as these lows hold, it looks fine. Right here. Netflix, talked about that. Google consolidating above the 200-day. Nvidia, Amazon putting a cup and handle base above the 200-day. Microsoft strong after that earnings report, coming back into these highs from 2024. And then Tesla. So, pretty good breadth across the market. And Nvidia gapping higher on earnings is a good sign. So we will have to see if it falls through tomorrow. That's always the key. It's always not the numbers, it's always the reaction. Numbers look good, reaction looks good so far. So tomorrow should be interesting, and this should be gapping up the NASDAQ. The index is higher as well. So still day by day in this market, but no reason to not be bullish. That is going to wrap it. As always, love to hear from you guys. My email is connor@revereasset.com. Phone is 855 Real Wealth. That is 855-732-5932. And you can always reach out to me on X at Connor J Bates _. And if you're ever interested in becoming a client, as always, please reach out. Thanks for watching and have a great night.